notes through an informational video on what flipping the classroom is. So what is a flipped classroom? Some of you may have already taken flip notes in a class before, maybe social studies, maybe math, maybe English, science. But this year we'll be using all of our notes as a form of homework through the flipped classroom. It is a class that uses videos or podcasts as instructional tools to help students receive the most support when they are working on the most difficult tasks. So to me, the most difficult task a student's going to do is taking information and applying it to something through either creating some kind of product, engaging in a conversation, or writing, answering questions. So I would rather you be with me where I can help you with grapple those concepts and create those products rather than the easy task of just attaining knowledge through notes. The student listens and takes notes on classroom content at home and then uses his or her knowledge to create or participate in activities in the classroom. So all of your note-taking will be done at home. I'll expect you to have done it, for it to be complete on the day that it's due, and to be ready to use that knowledge to help us learn even more about it. So using it as a jumping off point to learn more. What used to be considered classwork is completed at home through teacher-created videos, and what used to be homework is now completed in class. So that's where the flip terms comes from. We're just flipping the usual way of doing things. So this eliminates lecturing for half a class period and spending so much time on that you have to do posters and projects and papers all at home. Now, this isn't to say that you won't have work like that to do, but pretty much if you don't finish it in class, then it's something that you do at home. So at home, your note-taking and your lectures are at home. In class, we'll do things like analyzing documents, creating projects, working in teams, and writing essays. Now again, like I said, this doesn't mean that you won't have to do some of this outside of class, but you will do the bulk of it in class so that I can take a look at your work and make sure you're on the right page and there's less confusion that way. So how are you going to access this? On the first day of school, I gave you a questionnaire that tells me who might need some internet access while we're at school. So I'll talk to those particular people about what we can do, or you can approach me. But there's a couple of different ways that you can do this where everyone has access to this. So at home, you can use a computer. That's probably the most popular way. You can also use an iPad if you have one of those. Any way that you can get internet. I can put the videos onto a flash drive for some of you, but I would prefer that we find the videos online through YouTube so that you can get the sound piece. You can also use a public library to use the videos. Now they're very short, so while your brother or sister is checking out a book, or your parents, you can go on, do the video, take your notes, and be prepared for class. At school, you can use the school computer lab or library. There's few computers in the classrooms that you can do if you get to school early, or maybe during lunch or smart lunch as well. I do put the videos up a couple days in advance so that you have a few days to get through it. So if you know the internet's going to be a problem, don't leave it to the last minute. I had a lot of students last year use this particular category, which is the on the go. Many of you have a smartphone. The smartphone is basically a phone that has the internet on it. And you can even download the Edmodo app or a YouTube app and subscribe to my channel, or on your Edmodo account, your homework will pop up and you can watch the video right there on your phone. So pretty cool that you can do that. Some iPods have internet capability. You can do the same thing on there, download the app. Either one works, and get on there and get to work. Also, if you have an iPad at home, as mentioned, that can also go over here. So plenty of ways to access your notes. If you ever have an issue, I prefer parents to email me saying, you know, our internet was down, or we couldn't get to the phone, or whatever that is. But like I said, there's several days in advance, so there really should be no excuse for your homework not being done. If there is a true issue with getting to the internet, I do have backup textbook page numbers that you can use to get that information that way. So we're going through this shift in education, and you probably heard about it, from traditional to 21st century skills. And this has been going on for a while, and the flipped classroom really goes along with that 21st century push. So in a traditional class, you might have a teacher say, tonight, go home and read pages 13 through 20 and answer the questions 1 through 10, based on the textbook. Now, textbooks are starting to kind of move out of the way as the internet is more right at our fingertips, where we can figure out some information. And our students today and our learners are used to this quick digital way to retrieve information. So that's what the flip video is going to do. Tonight, watch Unit 1, Video 2, and take Cornell notes. Now, these notes are going to be just a basic understanding of a concept, and then we'll go further with it in class using some 21st century tools. So what I want to ask you is, which one of these would you rather do? Which one caters more to your learning style or goes more along with it? I'd like to think that more of you are probably right here as you grew up knowing digital media sources. So we're going to cater to what you like through the flip video process. So how is this going to benefit you? And there are a couple of ways other than the fact that we're simply using technology. So you get to use the updated technology, but you can also go back and review confusing content areas for note-taking or studying purposes. So let's say that maybe your little brother ripped up your notes. You can go back, view the video again, retake notes on it, or you can just go back and review a concept before a test. So this is really helpful for slowing things down or for review, because they're always there. Whereas if I'm talking in the classroom, unless you have some kind of recording device that you're really not supposed to have in school, then you can't do that. You can spend time in class asking questions. How many of you have been in a class before where there's one person or 2 people or 3 people that just keep asking questions the whole time, and you end up taking notes for an entire class period? That can get kind of lengthy and boring. So if we just come to class ready, knowing the background knowledge already, and spending time, 10 minutes tackling some of those more difficult questions, it's more efficient, and we can get into some more fun activities. In class, you'll spend time working in groups and creating projects using what you have learned. So we really get to do a lot of interactive hands-on things. It won't all be projects, it won't all be group work, but there will be little bits of that throughout each class to kind of keep you on your toes. But basically, we're moving away from lecturing the whole class period, which some of you may have experienced in the past, or maybe you haven't. This is a big benefit. If you're absent, you won't miss any content information. So if you get really sick and you're out a week from school, you can still keep on top of the basic content, and then it's not as confusing to come back and get started on some of the activities that maybe you weren't able to do at home, but many of you still will. So basic understanding here for me, and the benefit for me, is that I feel like as a teacher, I'd rather spend my time working side by side with you rather than just talking at you. My job is to teach you how to learn, not to act as if I'm the only expert on a topic when you have computer internet right in front of you where you can look up exactly what I'm going to say. So I'd rather help you become stronger learners than just to stand in a room and talk at you. So how are we going to do this? About 2 times a week, I will assign you to watch a video that I have created. Some of the videos have a small video of me talking that's embedded into the PowerPoint slide, and others will just be my voice like this video is now. The PowerPoint's up there so that we can cater to the visual learners, the voice for audio. Don't just simply watch it without the sound though. You need to be able to hear what I'm saying, because I don't stick just to the slide, if you've noticed this from this presentation. So sometimes I'm going to elaborate more. You're going to watch the video on Edmodo, and we've set up those accounts. and you'll take Cornell notes on the topics in your notebook. This will be on the left side pages. If you have any questions about a topic, please make sure to write it down. You could put it on a sticky note, stick it on your left notebook page. Whatever strategy works for you works for me. Just don't forget to ask those questions. Another helpful hint, if you've noticed, the text is in different colors. Some of us are at different levels for taking notes, and that color is to help you focus on what's the most important information. Now, do you need to write this word for word? Absolutely not. You can paraphrase that. You can shorten it as long as you get the main concept down. So the color kind of gives you a clue as to what you should be taking notes on. So what if you don't do your notes? Well, first of all, in Edmodo, I can see who's been on and who hasn't. So that gives me a clue as to who's done their notes and who hasn't. I also check your notes. At the beginning of the year, I'll check them every time. And towards the beginning, it'll move to more sporadic checking, so at random. But overall, if you don't complete your notes, I'll notice if you're lost. You definitely will notice if you're lost. And you just have to backtrack, and then you end up having to do more and more and more. It's very simple, so I would just get it done so that you don't have to spend smart lunch making up your notes. Because if you don't have them, I'll call you on it. You need to get them done. Every morning you'll have questions you need to answer with those notes. If you can't do that, then you'll have to spend time doing your notes and getting a 0 for that grade. So videos range 5 to 15 minutes long. That's it. You have homework twice a week for notes. Just do it. It'll benefit you, your grade, and your happiness in my classroom overall. So a couple of tips from me. Some of you will be able to take the notes by watching the video one time. Some of you will watch the video and kind of pause on slides, and some of you will watch once and then take notes the second time. That's the way that I recommend to do it, because then you hear everything that I'm saying, and then the second time you can go in and fill in the blanks. If you miss something or don't understand it, first rewind and re-listen. That's the great part about it being a video. If that doesn't solve your issue, then please write down your question, put it on a Post-it, write it in your notes, and make sure to ask me the question in class. Every morning after a flip notes assignment, we'll be reviewing and asking or answering questions, so take advantage of that time. People always have questions. It doesn't mean that you're any less intelligent than anybody else. I actually think those that ask questions probably are showing their intelligence even more so. So please, please, please don't be shy. Ask questions. Ask your peers questions, and anything that you need to be clarified, I'm more than happy to do that. That's your time. So that's all I have for flip notes. You will have your first assignment coming up, so make sure you're ready for it.